Hey guys, so for this workout, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. This is going to be going through 5 different exercises. At each exercise, you're gonna be staying at that exercise for 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and you're gonna do 4 sets of that. So once you've done 4 sets of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off of the first exercise, going on to the second exercise, again, 20 on, 10 off times 4, onto the third, the fourth, and the fifth. After you've done that, you're gonna rest for 2 minutes, and then you're going to be repeating on through for 1 to 2 more rounds for a total of completing 2 to 3 rounds of this workout. Cool. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through all 5 movements for you guys just to make sure everything's clear, starting off with the skull crushers on a bench. Now for this position, you guys are going to need either a bench, or in this case, I'm actually going to show you guys how to do it on a chair. Now from this position, I'm going to be breaking at the hips, having my weight on the balls of the feet. Now I would recommend starting off practicing this movement without using it as kind of your movement prep as well too, or part of your movement prep. I'm going to be thinking about bending at the elbows, dropping my forehead down towards the chair, and then repeating up by extending the arms so that they're nice and straight. Now this isn't a push-up. I'm going to be focusing on breaking through the elbows, dropping my head down towards the ground, keeping that slight bend in through the hip. Now again, give that a few tries, a few repetitions just to see how it feels. If you want to make it harder, walk the feet further back. Now again, from this position, I still want to make sure that my forehead is going to touch or make contact on that chair. But just by changing the feet a little bit further back, you change the hip position as well too, and you get a little bit more of that force placed on through the triceps, the backs of the arms. Now again, for this one, we're going to do 20 seconds of that hard pushes. Make sure that you get a little bit of pop at the top position, but don't lose that low back position as well too. You're going to repeat that for 4 sets, so make sure it's manageable as well. Then we're going to go on to lunge switches. Now, for this one, I'm going to go into a lunge pattern or a split squat position. Again, knee tracking in line with the toe. I'm going to be up on the ball of that back foot. Control, drop down, big drive and switch. Big drive and switch. Make sure it's propelling yourself up, going to those control switches, dropping down to start position, and then drive back up for that switch. Now, alternatively, you can do 20 seconds one side, drop down, drive, drop down, drive. Make sure you're catching yourself, not losing your balance like I just did. Maintain in control position, push, catch, drop down, making sure that you can stabilize. That being said, if both those 2 variants are a little bit too challenging, you can go through squat jump, realizing if you have a light overhead or if you have low ceilings, you don't want to get concussed. Again, control drop, big drive, catch yourself. Again, making sure you can try for full extension, but also aware of anything overhead. Exercise number 3 is going to be a stork hold. Now, this is going to be more of a stabilization-based movement. I'm going to be using my fridge to demonstrate, and the camera gets the chance to follow me. So for this position, I'm going to start with my right knee up against the wall. I'm going to hinge through the hip. I'm going to drive through, going for tension in through this left side of the hip, driving through the ground, pushing my right knee into the ground, not letting my right hip, right shoulder, or right foot contact, just driving in like I'm trying to force that right knee into the ground or into the fridge, feeling that tension in through that left hip. 20 seconds of this, recover, immediately switch sides. Same thing, hinge, break out through the hip, again dropping the hips down and back till you go for that tension, so stick your butt back. Drive that knee into the wall or into the fridge. 20 seconds. Switch back to the start side until you've done 4 sets in total, so 2 each side. After that, we're going to go into the 4th exercise. Again, focusing more on stability, but this will lead to some burning through the upper back. This one's going to be more of a controlled movement. We're going to go through a movement called the Blackburn. So, chest is going to be resting on a cushion, nice and stable. I'm going to start with the knuckles touching or hands just behind the butt. big squeeze between the shoulders. I'm going to bring the arms up to about a T position. Control, palms down. And then from here, you can slightly go into an overhead position. For this one, we don't need you to go fully overhead. We're just gonna go slightly past. Control back down to T, palms back up, control behind the butt, focusing on that big squeeze between the shoulders, up and over, control back to start position, slightly over, control back to start. Now, for this one, because it is 20 seconds in length, you're most likely only going to be getting 2 to 3 times through, focusing on that control range, or 2 to 3 reps of that control range, making sure that there's no pain, discomfort in through the front of the shoulder. If there is, lessen that range of motion. So that might just be coming from that T position, controlling back to start position. It might even be just palms or backs of the hands lifting off the ground, shoulders rotating or tilting back, big squeeze between the shoulders, and then dropping it down in between. Holding that for 20 seconds is completely fine. The final movement is going to be bringing back jumping jacks. So we get to pretend we're in gym class. Now again, being aware of there's stuff overhead, being aware that ceilings are potentially just high enough to avoid grazing the hands up overhead. So if that's the case, we can break down the movement, go for a bent arm position. Still, we're gonna go jump up, control. Now again, for this one, we're gonna find that going for speed. You can get those wide positions, 20 seconds, followed by 10 seconds of rest, control down. Big squeeze, driving on up, getting those arms separate, 20 seconds, bring it on down. After that, you get to rest for 2 minutes and then repeat on through those 5 exercises for another 1 to 2 more rounds. Enjoy, guys.